Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Butomi Sophia Buri Yakachabalala, and welcome to yet another episode of Second Chances with Sophia V.
Yay!
So today we will be unpacking the topic of co-parenting, and I am hoping by the end of this video that I will be able to inspire, motivate, or even help parents that have recently gone through divorce, parents that have situations when it comes to getting access to their children, or even parents that had children out of wedlock, because the most important thing for me at the end of the day is for the children to come out on top and stay winning when it comes to the structure of family. So even before I go far, what is co-parenting? In simple terms, co-parenting is when parents that are no longer together and are not involved with each other in any way are both actively involved in the life of their children. The most important key word in this whole thing is that they are actively involved. It does not the definition does not say anywhere that the parent is a bank. It does not say in any way that the parents should be sleeping with each other, and it does not say anywhere that the child need to do something in return for that parent. Basically, co-parenting is all about the child. Sadly, there's this mentality that goes on in our community that when people are co-parenting, they're sleeping with each other. No. And that is what I am hoping to correct. Co-parenting is hard, more especially at the beginning, but at the end of the day it is very rewarding and beneficial for your child. So when you co-parent, at the end of the day your child gets to have a certain level of confidence when it comes to knowing their parents. As I talk throughout the video, I will be referring a lot to the mother giving access to their father, but this video is applicable to everyone irrespective of the role that you play as a parent. It will just be an example that I will use. Going back to the topic of the notion or the mentality that our communities have, that will be my starting point when it comes to tips in terms of co-parenting. I'll give you 3 main tips. Take it or leave it, but these are very crucial according to me. When it comes to co-parenting, you need to put aside your feelings. If you have any unresolved issues or any or unresolved feelings when it comes to the other parent, put them aside. In fact, let me give you a better solution. Here's a bin. Put them in here. Put them in. I know you have unresolved feelings. Put them in here. Throw them away. Throw them away. Romance does not work when it comes to co-parenting. You need to deal with those issues. If you are going into co-parenting and you are still sleeping with each other, that is not co-parenting. That is a situationship, and you need to deal with it as well. That is the first thing. Do not care or do not give into what the community thinks about co-parenting. You need to give, at the end of the day, you need to do what is best for your child. Give the child what they need, and what a child needs is 2 parents in their lives. 2, co-parenting is not a competition. When you want to co-parent, you need to work together as parents. The child needs to feel secured that either parent that they go to, they know that they will be safe. When you are co-parenting right and you are not in competition with each other, the child gets to understand the consequences of their actions. Children tend to be manipulative and they work on the weaknesses of their parents. If they see a loophole that on the left side, my dad, I can get away with anything. When I'm at my dad's side, he buys me anything and everything, whether I need it or just want it, I will get it. And from the mother's side, and the child will be able to see that the mother has a weakness, my mother is too strict, or there's no communication between you guys. The child will use that against you, and that can cause even further problems between you as parents, or even in other further relationships that you might currently be involved with when it comes to other parents. So working as a team is very, very crucial. Third point, communication is key. But by communication, I do not mean constantly being on the phone with the other parent, talking to each other, more especially if you were married before and now you've separated. It is very, very important to communicate about the child, but also to have boundaries, because it is easy to fall back on our old habits. Like when you were in a relationship, it was the norm for you to talk to your partner about anything and everything. And right now, when you've gone through a separation and more especially when there are kids involved, you do not want to possibly fall back onto the old routine and still act as boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, partner and partner. You do not want that. You need to set boundaries so that you don't cross lines. The next thing, you'll be sending each other nudes and so when you're co-parenting, you need to make sure that it stays strictly about children, and you know that you are doing it for the right reasons, because you have put all your feelings, your unresolved feelings, into my bin, and I am going to take very good care of those feelings for you. Okay? Thank you. So some of you might ask, where does Sophia get off talking about co-parenting? What does she even know about co-parenting? So let me give you a bit of background about myself. So my parents, they got married, they had us, they divorced at some point at some point in time, and they later got back together. So the divorce was for about 2 or 3 years. And during that time, what I experienced, I feel like it contributed to the young woman that I grew up to be right now. And this is why. When my parents divorced, as normal as you can expect, because it is normal, there were feelings involved. I think my mom was more hurt, and my siblings and I, we moved about 3 to 4 hours away from where my dad was staying. But even then, even with those feelings, even with whatever problems that they were having between the two of them, my mother never deprived us of having a relationship with our dad. Staying as far as we stayed, my dad only got 2 days off during the week, which is a Tuesday and a Thursday. And I remember my dad each and every single Thursday driving those 4 hours just to come spend time with us. And obviously, since it was during the week, you know that there's only limited time available since we go to school. And like I've already said, that there were some unresolved issues between the two of them. My dad would normally come and park his car by the corner of our street and would go sit in the car. But there was never ever a single point in time whereby either parent made us feel awkward about having a relationship with the other parent. They made it seem okay. And you can only imagine the strain of having to drive 4 to 5 hours one way, 3 to 4 hours one way, and having to travel back. Financially, it takes a toll on the person. But my dad made the sacrifice, and by the time he got to us, although he was not financially well off, he did not show that to us. So instead, he would take us, I would sit in the car, or he would play outside with us. So I never felt the void of not having a father in the house. So much so that by the time they got back together and my father moved back in the house with us, I never felt awkward, because I was never without a father. Secondly, my dad was an academic person, and my mom was more of a disciplines person. So having that combination, the two of them, the kind of love they were giving us, it was definitely different. And I do not think there is ever a mother who can be able to give a child a father's love. No matter how much you might love your child, as a father, you will not be able to give your child a mother's love, because you are not a mother. As a mother, you will not be able to give your child a father's love, because you are not a father. You can try to imitate it, but you do not know how the other person was going to give the love. So for that reason, I always appreciated, and in my head, growing up, I had a dream that when I grow up, I'm going to have a complete family, whereby I'm going to get married, have kids, and raise my kids under one roof. And even the cartoons, or even when you look at stories most of the time on your television, they portray a complete family as having a mother, a father, children under one roof. So for me, having experienced that kind of love from both parents without feeling any awkwardness, it made me feel safe, it made me feel complete, and it made me feel loved. So I grew up in a home that was full of love. So irrespective of the dream that I had of having a complete home under one roof, I also grew up, got married, had a child, and we separated. When my parents divorced, I was about 9 or 10 years old. So when I separated from the father of my child, he was only 6 months old. So having gone through that, the first thing that came to my mind, having gone through a separation from someone that you deeply care about, more especially because I went into depression after my separation. If you have not watched my story, I will link it somewhere. I'll link it somewhere on the video. Please go have a look at that. My separation was rather traumatic, and even then I immediately had to put my feelings on the side, and I had to snap out of it and tell myself, V, you did not make this child alone, so the child deserves to have the other party in their lives. Now that brings me to the next point. When can you allow for your child to have a relationship with the other parent? I am not going to sit here and claim as though we live in a perfect world with no exceptions, because we both know that's not how it is. Unless the other party point blank or simply does not want to be involved in the lives of their parents, it is okay. As sad as it is okay if the other parent does not want to have a relationship with that child. At least that is their choice. But should the other party want to have a relationship with the child, you should allow them. But do not do that ignorantly so. Not everyone who is a parent, or not everyone who is a mother or is a father knows how to play that role. So that brings me to the second point. If the person is abusive towards the child, then you can restrict them. You can deprive them from having a relationship with that child. And I'm not talking about some beef that you might have together, some other agenda that you might have. In all of this, I hope you have been taking note that it is all about the child. Oh, he dumped me and he moved on the next day. Heal. Oh, he promised to buy me this as when we were together. He didn't. And heal. She promised to do that. Heal. It is about the child. Some people may be bad partners, but they turn out to be awesome parents. Unless the person poses a direct threat to the child, then you have no reason to deny them access to have a relationship with that child. No matter how much you may want to put it, children need both parents in their lives. A child is 50% their mother, 50% their father, and 100% themselves. If the other parent is doing any wrong, the child will grow up to witness those things. It is not your responsibility to paint the other parent as a bad parent. Last part before I close. Here are the 5 tips that I can give you to help you have a better and a healthy co-parenting relationship. Keeping in mind that there is no perfect relationship. Co-parenting is also a relationship on its own, but eliminate the romance out of it, eliminate it, you keep the children. It is a relationship on its own. It will have its ups, it will have its downs. As parents, you should be matured enough and open enough to be willing to try different methods until it works. Tip number 1. Do not talk badly about the other parent. I don't care whether they are contributing financially or not. I don't care what they did, as long as they are not harming the child, or as long as just try as much as you can to protect your child. But try, by all means, do not talk bad about the other child, because children, they are sponges, they are absorbing. The last thing you want to do is to find your child hating the other parent for something that they did that is concerning to the two of you and has absolutely nothing to do with the child. The child will later grow up in future and discover things, and they might turn on you. The last thing you want to do is to raise your child so painfully so, and when they grow up, they're like, wait, you deprived my father from having a relationship with me because he could not pay for a school fee, he could not pay for a school trip. 2, conflict is inevitable. You are bound to have disagreements, but you need to choose your battles wisely. When you are having, not everything requires an argument. There are certain things, if you can compromise, you do that. When it comes to parenthood, it will not be your way or the highway. It will be the two of you. It will sometimes require you both to sit down, intervene, to sit down and have a discussion. And sometimes you need to put your pride aside, and you might have to accept what the other person is suggesting or saying to you. 3, parenthood goes beyond finances. But let's be honest, finances are equally important. The child needs to eat, the child needs to go to school, the child has needs, and those needs, they need to be met by both parents. If you have an amicable relationship as parents and you're able to talk things out, by all means, great, do that. Draw up a plan and contribute equally towards the needs of the child. However, should the one party be hard enough, let's go to court. The maintenance court and family planning court, they are there to help us wherever we are not able to talk. I'll do a separate video about how to go about the whole process of maintenance should you need it. But let talking be the first thing that you guys do amongst yourself. And should the other party not come to play, then by all means, let us use the courts. Parents need to be actively involved in the lives of their children in every single way possible, in terms of finances, in terms of emotions, and every other way available. 4th, this is a benefit to you as a parent, I'm telling you. Enjoy time away from your child. There are so many parents, more especially women, they grow up, oh, I sacrificed this for you, I sacrificed my dreams for you. Let me tell it to you point blank, you didn't have to. No one asked you to. Unless you have extreme situations whereby you are all on your own, then it's fine. However, when it comes to co-parenting, the other child is allowed to go sleep over at the other parent's house, and that gives you time to yourself. Use that time to work on your individual needs. I love my child, but trust you me, he can drive me crazy sometimes. So sometimes taking time out with your adult friends, it gives you that boost, that you need. You need to take away the guilt. You need to work on the guilt. Do not feel guilty. You deserve time. The child deserves to have a relationship with that other parent. So let them go and have some quality time with their parents. You do not have to sacrifice your dreams. You do not have to forget about yourselves. You just need to do it responsibly and have a balance in your life. Last but not least, number 5. It is not necessarily a tip, it's a side note that I thought you would find helpful. Did you know that there are laws that are governing this whole process when it comes to children? You can go to the children's court to learn more about what your rights as a mother and what your rights as a father are. You all have rights, and should your rights get violated, you are more than welcome to take the other party to court and hold them accountable. Do not give up on your child. Do not give up on your child. A child will not have memories of you as a child, or memories of you if you were not there to create those memories with them. The notion of, no, the child will come find me when they're 18 years old, you are not doing any justice to the child. The child, you have, as a parent, either side that you're on, you have equal rights to have access to your child, and you should exercise those rights. And amongst those rights, did you know that you are not required as a parent to inform the other party when you start relationships. Yes, the biggest problem when it comes to co-parenting is because the other person feels entitled to know about your other partners. You are not required by law to inform the other party. So that is the other thing when it comes to co-parenting, that if you are going to involve other people into the picture, it is up to you guys to do so responsibly and to put the best interest of the child forward. I personally believe it is not good to introduce a child to different partners, but at the other end, I will not say don't move on, never introduce your child, because in the most perfect world, we would be together under the same roof as one family, loving each other. But it is what it is. You are watching this video because we don't live in the most perfect world, and we need to take into account that the other person is allowed to go outside and receive love from other people. So we need to accept that we should not feel entitled to how they move on with our lives. So yeah, those are the tips that I have, and I hope that they will be helpful to you. And yes, let's engage. It is a topic after all. Let's engage. Please engage with me on the comment sections below. Please let me know, what have you done that worked for you when it comes to co-parenting, or what have you witnessed? What would you do differently? Let's learn, let's teach each other, let's help out each other. And yes, I'm still going on this journey. I've been on it for 4.5 years and it's still ongoing, so I'll keep you updated. If ever in future I learn something else, I'll come back and I'll fill you in. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are it's the first time you come to our channel, welcome. I hope you like it here and you actually get to stay. And how you're going to join our family is by pressing that subscribe button. So yes, looking forward to seeing all of you again soon. Thank you. Enjoy.